Hey cousins.
Hey y'all.
Welcome back. We are here with episode 3. And today we're going to be talking about separation and divorce.
Why?
We're going to discuss our personal take on it. Like, have you ever thought about leaving? So we're going to discuss all that. But before we jump into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And like Jamilla said the last episode, make sure you share this thing too. And follow us on our social media handles below.
You like that?
Go ahead, girl.
Okay. So, this is such a tough topic. I have always said that when it comes, especially after having kids, when it comes to separation or divorce, I don't want to wake up in a house like without my kids. Like, I can't imagine like being in a house that you aren't in, that my kids aren't in. Like, that just feels very strange to me.
I think when you talk about divorce and separation and kids are involved, like the dynamics is extremely hard to think about. And I think that's why most couples ultimately try to stick it out the best that they can to the mental capacity that they can, stay in that type of situation.
Yeah.
So for me, okay, so just the question out there, do we believe in separation? To me, I don't know if we ever talked about it.
I feel like we've never talked about
So this might be the first time we're actually processing this with you guys.
Real time.
This might be this is our communication here. So for me, separation is on the table only because ultimately I don't want to have a divorce. So separation for me, if there's something that you needed a break, you need to step away due to an argument or something, or maybe something that I did that you just cannot find it in your heart to forgive right away and you need some space, I can go move in the guest room for a month or so. But ultimately, the goals during separation is therapy, repeated therapy.
Okay, so I guess when I was thinking separation, like how some people are legally separated, or they separate and they live apart.
I'm not trying to do that.
Okay. So when you said separation's on the table, I was like, huh? But I think I agreed with when you said if you did something to me and you had to move to the guest bedroom. But I don't know. It's like thinking about
okay, so separation. So how would you feel about separation? So okay, I guess the legal separation, you can actually date other people within that. Like, you're open to do what you want to do.
Some people date through all cycles.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it's just not.
Because to me, I guess if you're getting to the point of it's so hard for me now that I'm processing it, because during our dating period we separated and dated other people, but ultimately we got back together and it made us stronger.
So then I would have a correction to that. So
okay.
I was dating you, but you were dating other people, and then we separated from that.
During that separation, you were dating other people as well. After we decided we weren't dealing.
Right? But when we got serious, we've never had a break from when we got serious. Right.
So if we were so say we got into this huge argument. All right, let's just say, for example, which never happened. Say you cheated on me.
I don't like that example.
You got a gambling issue. And you gambling all the money away.
Oh my
You're barely
goodness.
paying our bills. And I need to figure some things out. I need you out of the house.
Who gonna help with these kids?
Okay, so we process. Separation is just not an option. And for me, divorce is definitely not an option.
No.
In the beginning, we would have to go through maybe years of therapy, years of consistently trying, putting effort, unless you just constantly unless I'm feeling like I'm holding you here hostage.
Right. I think that's what the sad part about divorce or separation is, when you have someone who doesn't want to try anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's really nothing you can do when that other person taps out, because you're really in this by yourself, right? And like you said, it is really hard to talk about this, because I'm almost I don't want to talk about it anymore.
So I'm who reviewed these topics before this discussion? I'm just the talent. I just sat down here.
I ran this by you.
And what did I say?
I like them. So as of right now, in the point of our relationship, we haven't discussed divorce or separation. We have not done couples counseling since we got married, though. Or after, no, maybe a year after we got married.
Yeah, because we were seeing our one friend.
Right. So we went before marriage. I think we went the first year afterwards.
And then we had to do therapy when we were doing the IUI process.
Right. So, like, but we haven't been, like, since 2017, we haven't been to couples counseling.
No, but I'm not opposed to it. I'm all for therapy and counseling.
I'm actually into, I want to actually start family counseling. It can really be couples counseling, but the girls can be there with us just so they can get familiar with the setting of being in therapy. But I'm all for, like, family therapy, like proactive, right? Not that there's any issues, but just because it's just, you know, you guys, I did a video on it, you know, it's just that mental health is like your wealth right there. So
yeah, it's like almost like a check-in. Like, I'm trying to think, like, okay, like maybe how you get like an oil change for your car. Maybe we should start thinking of therapy like that. Like, stop. Well, I guess an oil change, it lets you know something's wrong with the car, but you get the oil change so that you don't like permanently mess up your car, to make sure you keep it running. So that's what I think of, like, it's therapy. Like, because even with Harper, when she plays with her dolls, like, I like to listen to her because you learn a lot.
You do. Like, that's how we learn, like, what's going on, what type of relationship she has with other people, what they say to her. Like, that's how I, like, try to key in. That's very true.
So back to...
So have you ever thought about leaving?
Mm-mm.
I actually thought Jay Mills was going to leave me.
That's a good... Yeah.
So I shared with you guys how I was laid off from my job during maternity leave. And, you know, during that time, I was paid maternity leave and then it rolled into severance pay. But then there was a time where I was just like, oh my God, it's getting close to my money running out and I don't have a job. My money was running out and I didn't have a job. So I was just like so worried that, you know, she was going to leave me because this was in a time where we were looking to buy the home that we were in. So I was just feeling like, you know.
And she wasn't saying all of that to me. She would just randomly be like, so you want to leave me? And I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Because it's like you're going through the home buying process. You're talking about money. You're talking about things. And then you just feel like you don't have anything to contribute. So for me, I was just putting myself in a funk of thinking like, hey, she's going to leave me because she's ready to buy a house. We definitely needed to get out of the neighborhood that we were in. And I just felt like I couldn't contribute. But in the end, you know, I was just in my head because I ultimately secured a job before my money ran out. And then I was able to fund the deposit on this home. And so the down payment on this home.
So when we had that argument, I'll let you say that again.
The down payment. I paid for the down payments on this home.
So how the argument came to me, how the discussion came to me is like we were seeing a house and it got to a point where we weren't able to put in an offer on a home until we could show proof that our current home was up for sale, right? Because they assume that most people can't float both homes. And we had kind of maxed out our budget on the home that we wanted. So, and it was just on my credit. So it would have been hard for me with my salary to float two homes of the prices that they were. So our realtor was like, so like, what do you guys want to do? And then Sequina was like, at that point, whoa, pump your brakes, this is moving too fast. And in my head, I was confused because I'm like, well, the whole reason we're seeing the house is like this is the point where we're at. But to reset, it's like you were at a point where you had just had Harper, and now having Holland, these like emotions do come up, right? Because like I've had emotions like where like, well, Sequina, there's no way Sequina can be like attracted to me anymore because like I've gained all this weight. I have this baby. I have this scar now. I have a little kangaroo pouch. Like I'm not like cute little sexy Jamilla walking around like about to be in like a little
girl, you're still fine.
Thank you, babe. Like in a little bikini. So like you do have these thoughts after having a baby, like your head's just everywhere. At the time I didn't get it because at the time I was like, look, A plus B plus C. You told me you want to get out this neighborhood. I found the resolution. I'm very resolution based, and it probably to her annoyance. I don't like to talk about a problem too long. We got to resolve it. And then she hits me with a, if you want to leave, I'm letting you know I'm keeping Harper and I want spousal support. Huh? Like, we had never talked about this.
That just came out of like nowhere.
It came out, and we were driving.
It's like a bird just shitting on you while you walking through the park.
Oh my goodness, she's driving. I'm in the back seat with Harper. It's like raining, of course. And I told her, I don't know how to respond to what you just said right now, and I don't trust myself to say the right thing right now. So I'm gonna just need a moment. And so then I got quiet and we drove home, and then I go to the closet and I just cry. Cause I'm like, oh my God, like, we were looking for homes. How did we get here? You know? Like, you're like, huh? Where did this go?
And I needed that spousal support because I was in between. You know, I didn't have a job. I wanted to keep the baby. Like, girl, you got to pay the dues. You
That was literally the discussion. It was literally like, well, babe, like, what did you think we were looking at homes for? Like, we're going to have to put our home up for sale. And she's just like, well, where are me and Harper going to go? If we sell our home, because the market, you keep telling me the market and the home's going to sell quickly.
So let me tell that. So I guess, like, I was missing the piece of the floating of the two homes. Because I was just scared that we would put our townhome on the market and it would sell, and then we would just be in a place like with all our stuff trying to wait for this home to be built.
So me now, I'm like, now it's like, okay, Sequina and Harper and the house, what are we going to get done? And she told me how she felt, how she wanted to move. The market looked good. We got to move. So I wasn't really thinking like, if we move, okay, where would we go? What would we do with Harper? And the thing is, I guess I just always assume we're just going to be with my mom.
Right.
But then thinking about her location and Harper's daycare and then where we worked, like, it was a lot.
Daycare, though.
She wasn't in daycare. She was
staying at home with me, right? But it was more so you getting to.
But I think at the time we started transitioning to her staying with a family friend. So they were in a different city. My mom was in a different city, and then we worked in a different city. I worked in a different city. So even like maneuvering all of that would have been a lot. And I wasn't thinking about that. I was just really thinking like A plus B plus C. We said we wanted to move. Here's a house we really like. Let's move.
Right. So,
and then she hits me with the if you want to leave, and I like literally that was that was the transition.
And it was never that I wanted to leave. It was just more so that I thought she was just going to leave just based off the circumstances. But that's the one thing about like Jamilla's in our relationship and she being such a dope spouse is that it never crossed her mind. And yeah, she already knew that I was gonna bounce back. We were gonna be where we needed to be. Like this was just a part of the journey, and ultimately everything worked out, you know, how it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. So I never thought about leaving, but I did think she was going to leave me.
She did. And then she's like, I feel like you're only here for Harper. And I was like, where's all this stuff? Who are these people in your head talking
hormonal,
to you?
Like, and I think just the talk of like listening to like, you know, the buying process and me not being able to be on anything because I didn't have a job. You know, you just ask questions like, well, where are you working right now? Well, I'm not working anywhere. I'm at home with my baby. So, you know, it was just things that kind of just hit me different and made me just pull back. But have you ever thought about leaving? You said no, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
no, I mean, after that whole conversation, I was like, well, dang. But after having Harper, it was just always like, I don't want I don't want her to ever be in a household where she doesn't have her parents. And I don't ever want to be in a household where I don't have her. So then, like, you start thinking like, dang, like, okay, so then do you have weekends or like how does that work?
So you
like,
just for the kids is what you're saying?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that like having kids, like I love our family dynamic, and I wouldn't even want to do it like by myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, she with me for the kids.
Is that what you're? Are those people still in your head talking to you?
No, I'm just totally kidding, guys. Don't take that too serious. There's all love.
They gonna be in the comments saying the same thing. They be like, Jamilla said she wouldn't. I mean, it's the whole totality of our family.
Right. All right. So to jump into the Q&J for this video, I'll let you go ahead and.
Okay. So Q&J is, how do we feel about content creation and video creation in comparison with like our careers? So I'm guessing like, do we hold back in videos because of our professional careers? Are there some videos we don't do because of our professional careers? Like what?
Yes, there are. Well, for one, we're not into pranks. We just never really been into pranks because Jamilla's not the type of person to play with. Period. Okay. Challenges, like, I think someone had commented and said like they want to see more challenges like kissing and stuff like that. Like I just feel like we give you guys so much that there are some parts of our relationship that are intimate that we don't like want to give it all. But if you were out with us, like out in the club or do whatever, like you would know what goes down. We'd be drunk in love like all the time.
Definitely love in the club.
So for me, like there's just certain things that we just don't do, not because of corporate as well. We try to minimize like profanity.
Okay, that's the bit, because I was really trying to think like, what don't I do on camera? Like profanity is one, because I curse a lot. And now that I have kids, I spell my curse words.
So we're trying to curse, like, it's ultimately like not just in corporate, like we want to be able to be in rooms where, you know, I want people to think that we know how to talk without using so much profanity, and like, you know, that's just not our image.
But I think as far as topics, there's not a topic that I don't talk about because of my professional career. So like I won't say where exactly I work, and I won't like that, you know, I won't say, but
yeah, I won't say exactly where I work either, but I will tell you what type of professions we have.
Yeah, like,
you know, we're both in baking.
I think the best thing about where I work is that their values, they're very value based. Their values and their mission align with mine as well. So like, I'll give an example. During June, they'll talk about like the Stonewall. In June, they'll talk about like the Stonewall riots, right? Like they're very like big in LGBT. Of course, the past June when it was very big, like Black Lives Matter, and corporations were really taking on those topics about diversity and inclusion.
Right.
Like the job like had a huge like across several months discussions about this.
Yes,
so,
like meetings. Like I've attended like just one-off, you know, seminars with high-level management just to like address these type of issues.
So it's not, so we don't have to censor ourselves as far as topics.
Right. I think we are our authentic selves, just like to the largest capacity outside of like, we just are very mindful with profanity and, you know, we don't put out sexual content. Like, you know, that's just really personal choice, not so much just corporate. It's just some things, you know, I can't give y'all all, you know.
Yeah, I don't think we've, and it's not even a conversation we've ever had, like, we're not going to do anything sexual on camera. I think we just haven't been those kind of people.
And I think you guys know that, like, most people, and I feel like when I get those random questions, like, hey, why don't y'all do pranks and challenges, I know it's somebody new to the fam, because you guys know, like, we're, like, the basis of our channel is to show the positive light in lesbian relationships, and, you know.
Totally.
Like, you know, just not to show that there's no drama. We're out here real live, you know, living.
And then we wanted to be authentic to ourselves.
Right.
Could we have run a checkup doing like a no kissing, no hands challenge?
We know we could do those things.
Yeah, like that could have been done, but I don't think it feels authentic to us. And I think we did one challenge one time, and it didn't even like perform well because it's like,
it's not like,
it's not us.
I think the people that are here, like what we do, like us sitting down here talking, addressing issues, like. You're here because that's what you like, and we are here doing it and passionate about it, and it's authentic. It comes natural to us because it's what we like doing.
Right.
So yeah, hope that, you know, answers the question. I feel like we went off, but
so yeah. So as far as like divorce and separation, you guys saw us real time processing it.
Yeah.
It's definitely no judgment on people who have had to divorce or have a separation for whatever reason that you need to. It's just not something that like I think about.
Right. As well. All right, y'all. Later.